Hello everyone. So the video right before this one was about this car you see around spinning here. This is a 1996 Porsche GT1 and it's a great model. But I actually had the loose successor kind of this car. It's the Carrera GT, the road going version. It's not actually the same car of course, but a lot of development from this led to this thing by mistake. I got this information from Wikipedia. It's an interesting story. This race car, it vanished because the changes in the FIA and the ACO, their racing regulations, pretty much made this car vanish after, I believe, 1998. So Porsche was planning to do another LMP car for the 1999 season, so they developed a secret V10 engine. But then Porsche decided to invest their money in the Cayenne. And as ugly as that truck is, it's a very successful SUV. It pretty much started the premium, I guess, SUVs, I think. And I actually have one of those in the mail somewhere. But anyways, also because Porsche and Volkswagen and Audi are all pretty much the same company, it is believed that the president shelved this LMP car from Porsche because it would compete too much with the LMP Audi R8, which is a dominating Le Mans prototype racer. Well, now it's an R10, I think, or even a higher number. But anyway, so basically the LMP car that Porsche was going to work on got shelved for the Cayenne. They needed their engineers to work on the Cayenne, and also from politics from Audi. Okay? But back in the year 2000, at the Paris Auto Show, they wanted to draw attention to their car, so they made a concept car of the Carrera GT. And now the Cayenne was selling, and it was making Porsche a lot of money, so they had the money to go ahead and make this car for real. So they made over 1,200 of them and sold them to the general public, and they were sold for around $450,000, so definitely a large chunk of change. And you pretty much ended up getting something like a race car anyways, but with no roof, and so you could show it off even better. So let's get rid of this guy here. No, we'll let that spin actually, and we'll just angle the camera down here. Or actually we should compare it to the photographs. So a lot of race car influences ended up in this road car anyways. The center knockoff, nuts for instance. It has carbon ceramic brakes, I believe. I'll have to double check that one. Yeah, it does. Sorry, it does. 15-inch carbon brakes. That's pretty huge, right? A 15-inch carbon brake rotor. And then it's surrounded by 19 and 20-inch wheels. And so it still has a V10, and now it's let's see, it's a 5.7 liter V10 back here, and it's making around 600 horsepower. So there's also an all-carbon body, and also the engine had a dry sump lubrication, which is very common in racing cars. And it also has a pushrod inboard suspension, which is similar to like F1 cars. It reduces sprung weight in the wheels. And then there's an electronic rear wing. And then Wikipedia also says the radiator in this thing is 5 times larger than the 911 Turbo of the day. So you basically ended up getting a race car anyways, but just a more road-going version than, say, a strict race car. So I guess it worked out for, rich people anyhow. Okay. Alright, so looking at this model, I picked it up loose, no packaging at all, but it's from one of the blister packs, whereas that race car I showed earlier is one of the crystal boxes. So this is going to have less detail, like it has no silver paint in the mirrors, there's no photo etched metal parts, there's no disc brake system, not on the blister packs. But even so, it's still a pretty nice looking model. It's got this nice white pearlescent paint. It's a metallic paint here. The wheels do look pretty similar to the photographs. They don't have the color in the middle though, but again, this is a blister pack, so it doesn't have as much going on. There's a little door handle recess there, which is nice. There's some black paint here indicating like the vent there, but it is actually blanked off casting. And then there's black paint here as well to indicate the vent coming out of the wheel well. So that's nice. I mean, if they're lazy, those would just be the rest of the body color white. So it's nice that they added the paint there. And there seems to be like some, yeah, there's some silver paint here for whatever the heck this thing is. Alright. So clear lenses here, and then they're molded in a way that looks like there would be light bulbs or some sort behind there, like one or two. So that looks good. In fact, there's actually silver paint there. Hopefully you can see, but there's silver paint. So that's really helpful as well. And then the Porsche crest here is really small. It's proportional. It's not oversized, I don't think. It looks like it would be the right size for the car. Pretty tight panel lines here. Okay. Front is just plain. It's weird. But these two little ridges there. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know if the real car has... Well, I guess on the real car, this would just be a duct going to the brakes. But here, would there be a grill or not on the real car? I'm not sure. Alright, well anyways, on the windshield there's a molded in wiper blade and it's painted black, so that seems okay. Molded in black interior, but can't really see much of it, unfortunately. I thought this might be removable. It is not. It's a little bit different, and I'm guessing it's the same paint, but I'm guessing this is all one clear piece of plastic and they painted this white onto it. So I'm getting the impression that there's a different color than the paint down here. Yeah. It looks like this is like a gray and this is more white, but maybe it's because this is reflecting the black onto the underside of this clear plastic. You know what? I'm gonna get the flashlight out on this one. Yeah, see, so you can see some of the light is affecting the color of that paint because it's just the paint isn't super thick. But you can see, you know, some detail here. Oh, yeah, those seats are actually nicely done. Well molded. Shifter. Yeah, you just can't see much of the detail, sadly, because the color choice of the plastic. It would have been nice if it was brown like the real car. Okay, well anyways, this printing on this clear plastic looks pretty nice. This is, I guess, simulating some sort of metal grate over the engine. Okay, and then there's a little red here for the third brake light, so that looks good. And then this is... Whoa, okay, so this is totally open here. But here it is blanked off. I'm not sure if the real car... I would think this would be blocked off on the real car, because otherwise air is going to get in and mess up someone's hair. Well, anyways. A couple of vents here indicated. No additional paint, but that's alright for me. And then this is a separate piece. So I guess in this case it might be okay, because, you know, in the real world this would raise up and down. But yeah, that gap is a bit unattractive. You know, it's super tight there, but loose there, so it just doesn't look really like a precision fit, right? Well, clear red taillights look alright. No problems there. And then what's going on here? There's some silver in there. I just don't know what it would be. Maybe it's like a passive vent for air to suck out there. But the Carrera GT is printed nicely there, and then it's nice to see some silver here on these three-dimensional exhausts. Like it's, you know, the middle is actually hollow, so that's pretty realistic. And it's got this weird texture on it as well, so that looks good. I guess there's only one rear backup light and then one reflector on the back of this car. Okay. Unfortunately, it is riveted together, so modding this thing is going to be pretty tough. The underpan does look pretty realistic. Granted, I've never seen the bottom of this car for real, but in modern times, it would probably be as flat as possible for aerodynamics. And then you'll notice it does curve up like a wing, so it would create downforce. It's kind of like a diffuser, just doesn't have like the vertical veins so much. Okay, so yeah, and all in all, it's a good model. I'm just looking over it here off camera, seeing if there's any paint bubbling or paint rash. Well, there does seem to be a little paint contaminant right there, so that's too bad. And also, I almost feel like the paint is yellowing. I don't know if it's picking up a reflection, a weird reflection. For some reason, the paint looks like it's yellow right here. What about the other side? It's not as bad. There's some sort of... The clear coat of this paint is picking up colors from other things. That's for sure. And I've noticed this in my silver McLaren 540, I think it was. So they got some funky clear coat going on some of these blister pack models. Okay, so there, some gunk. No, never mind. That's just some random gunk. Okay. All right. So yeah, I don't know how old this thing is, what collection this came from. If it came from a Porsche collection or what number Porsche collection, if there are more than one. But it's a pretty nice model. Didn't even talk about the treads. Staggered tires, nice looking treads. And from the side, they don't look like they're off-road tires because the blocks are pretty thin. So I'd say it's pretty great, actually. Alright, well, let's put it back up here for another spin next to its cousin. Okay. Alright, so anyways, I would say either of these models are quite nice if you're a big Porsche fan. I found the story of this car to be quite interesting because this Carrera GT I consider it to be one of the Porsche Halo vehicles, the 959 being the first one. Perhaps this is the second one, and then the 918 is maybe the third one. So, but the story of this one is kind of like it wasn't on purpose. It was almost like they made a concept car, but they had enough money from the Cayenne, which originally killed the original idea, but it came back around the second time, and now road-going people can drive this thing instead of race drivers. So I thought that was cool. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next review. Thanks for watching.